On this installment of Resilience Toolbox, we're speaking with Melissa Allen, who's an entrepreneur, human biologist, and allied healthcare professional about how sun exposure presents unique challenges to first responders and military. And we'll look at ways to do a better job of protecting our skin from damaging UV rays that can cause cancer. Please share a little bit about your background and your connection to the first responder and military community.
Yeah, sure, David. Well, previously I was an EMT for a short period of time, and I was also on the volunteer fire department in Riverview, Florida, also for a short period of time before relocating here to the San Diego area. And I'm now a human biologist. I run a small health and wellness studio here in San Diego. And then my husband is a 14-year Navy veteran. And he is now a helicopter mechanic at North Island, also here in San Diego.
Tell us a little bit about the way that you came to create Kovr. How did that all come about?
Well, my husband and I were conservationists. We're outside a lot, spend a lot of time outdoors. And my husband's fair complected, and he never really wanted to wear sunscreen. And honestly, I could have been probably doing a better job of applying it myself. So anyway, one day we're hanging out in the living room, and our puppy starts walking along the top of the couch, kind of like a cat. And my husband's starting to get a little bit bald up there, and he starts licking his head obsessively. And it just kind of made us, take note and just going, Bodie, knock it off, knock it off. And it just continued the next day. And that's when we thought we better take a closer look at it. He asked if I saw anything up there, and I said, well, honestly, it just looks like a tiny ingrown hair, possibly. But given that Bodie was so strange about it, I said, you got to make an appointment with a dermatologist. And one thing led to another. He ended up getting a diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma, and thank God it was able to be removed. He's doing fine.
So we do often hear about UV rays and their role in causing skin cancers. Why do first responders need to make this kind of skin protection a priority?
Well, first of all, they're outside a lot, right? They're in all elements. They're usually sweating. That's another thing. So when you're sweating, if you did have sunscreen on, you could be losing it that way. So our sunscreen is water resistant as well. One of the best things would be is just to apply sunscreen before you find yourself in an emergency situation.
Right. We do see, law enforcement personnel spending a lot of time outdoors for extended hours. And I just learned today a study that looked at Florida firefighters found an elevated risk for skin cancer compared to the general population. What's unique about Kovr and how does it work?
Well, Kovr is a mineral formula versus a chemical formula. So there's two major types of sunscreen out there. The mineral formula is a lot healthier for the person that's applying it. So it's known not to disrupt hormone levels and endocrine levels. That would take a while to go into detail about that, but out of the two, it's much healthier. It's also healthier for the oceans as well. And then SPF factors, like an SPF 30, we feel that it's better designed for people that sweat and move outdoors versus like an SPF 100. Most people think like an SPF 60 would be twice as much protection as 30, but that's not the way it works. SPF 30 blocks 97% of harmful UV rays. So in our eyes, that's the best of both worlds. So you have something that feels breathable for your skin as well as getting maximum protection.
Are there any other strategies you can share about making sure we protect our skin from UV rays?
Trying to also reapply if you do find yourself sweating more than usual. Try to reapply. If you can do it every 2 hours, that's even better.
If someone's interested in checking out or purchasing Kovr, how can they find it?
You can go to kovr.respondertv.com. You can get a 15% discount.
Melissa, thank you so much for joining us on Resilience Toolbox and sharing your mission with Kovr. We appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me, David.